and welcome to another episode of the In Between Podcast. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Hello and welcome to the In Between Podcast with your host as always, Kyle McLemore. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe because it's much appreciated. And you know, there's not a whole lot keeping us going here other than your support. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for stopping by. As we cross over the mid-50s, that's right, on our way to the far-out 60s, man, but we're not there yet. But we'll keep plowing ahead the way we do here on the In Between Podcast. Oh yeah, did it take me a little bit to get going? Oh yeah, did it take me a while to start this recording? Oh yeah, is this even the first attempt? Oh no! But you know, we're getting it done. Trying to stay productive, trying to resist that sweet siren call of Mary Jane. Because you know, once that pen hits these lips, there's not a whole lot of productivity going on. And speaking of other things going on, check out how long my hair is. It's getting like too long, actually. I'm pretty sure I measured it long ago and I was past the minimum donation point, so I'm pretty sure I'm well past the donation point. I need to chop it off, but what a dilemma that is, because I don't want to chop it off and look like Matilda or look like, you know, a little British bowl cut kind of thing going on. I don't want to cut my hair and be like, Betty's and cream. I don't want to be that guy, but I need to go through a catalog of like good looking dudes with like medium length hair. First thing that comes to mind is Bradley von Pittenstein. Brad Pitt, in Bullet Train, looking pretty good with like his medium length hair. But also it's Brad Pitt, so it's like he could be wearing anything, dude. He could be doing like a triple mohawk and still be like, damn, dude, looking good. Who else? Patrick Swayze in Point Break. Unfortunately, I don't think I have the similar hair type to Patrick Swayze. I think he's got more of a wavy hair thing going, and I have more of a straight hair. But I think Brad Pitt kind of has like straight hair too. So kind of going off of his catalog. Also, you know who else is also interesting to look at is Chris Pine, because that dude was also rocking some medium length straight hair as well that didn't look too bad. But then I think I saw an interview where he was like, yeah, I was growing it out and I was kind of feeling it until my assistant told me I looked like Jennifer Aniston from the 90s. See, that's the line that I have to walk, and the line that I'm terrified of is like, yes, I desperately want to cut my hair, dude. I desperately want to like at least get it shoulder length, because I am slowly losing my sanity with the amount of just like constantly trying to get this one hair out of my face that doesn't seem to exist. Or like I'll be, God forbid, I want to chew a piece of gum, because there's always going to be like this one stray hair that like gets caught in my mouth. And no matter how many times I'm doing this, like I can't find the one strand. Or how about any time I'm trying to sleep and it's like if I slightly roll over a little bit, I get the awesome sensation of somebody yanking my hair back. What's better than being half asleep and rolling over and having the sensation of just like, yeah, somebody yanked the hell out of your hair all of a sudden? Or, these are like problems that don't matter, right? Problems that are like good problems to have. Having long hair is like, you know, I guess not a terrible thing. But still, can't ever have it down like this out in the world because the slightest breeze or like I was just in my car, and what an idiot I was for thinking I could drive my car with my hair down because the wind is just freaking everywhere, creating a driving hazard because I can't see anything. But yeah, it's getting to the point where it's really irritating and it's almost not worth having, although I will admit it looks amazing. But still, probably gonna have to chop it. It's also like, I mean, we're approaching the summer months here, and it's like, I basically have I'm wearing like a turban all the time. Like I'm wearing like just a towel wrapped around my head constantly, cranking the heat on my brain all summer long. I don't want to do that. I would love to not have to tie my hair up every once in a while. That's also the other thing too, is like when I go to work, got to tie it up all the time. I got to do my tie up with my anime bun or whatever, which is also getting like, even when I do that, I'm still like below almost like mid back length on just like the leftover hair that's hanging off. And then I can't do like the ultimate man bun because then it's like I am way too self-conscious to be rocking a man bun because I'm pretty sure it's almost universally like hated on. So it's like, and I also don't like the way it looks either. So it's like I'm really trapped here in a rock and a hard place, not wanting to cut my hair and make it look terrible, but then also being so irritated all the time by my long, glorious hair. It's quite the Sophie's choice I've got here. Excuse me while I sip on some water. You'll notice no iced Americano. That's right, we were dropped by Dunkin' Donuts. Just kidding, of course. I had some coffee earlier and my mind is currently splitting down the middle. Got a massive headache, which is hence the water to alleviate such ailments. And it's just, a constant throb action. But, usually when I have like a coffee headache, the cure is more coffee. But I'm trying to back off the caffeine in general. Boy, I was trying not to cough and clear my throat this entire time. But it's impossible. It cannot be done. But what's new with you guys? Not a lot here. Saw that new Expendables trailer. You guys check out the new Expendables? With like the best tagline or whatever you call it, like the little phrasing for the movie. They'll die when they're dead. Insanity. Expendables 4. Oh, it's going to be a good one. I don't even know. I can't even say if it's going to be a good one. It looks different and not in a good way. So what's the thing about Expendables? What's their gimmick? What's their thing that keeps you coming back, right? Like, it's the introduction or like the reintroduction of all these old action stars that we love, right? Like, starts out with number 1. It was like basically all the Mount Rushmore of action movies, right? Stallone, Statham, Lundgren. I don't even know who else. All right, let's do this official. We can get the whole cast list going. I know Jet Li's in there. And like those are the mains. And as you go on, it starts to get like a little bit dicey. Hang on, I need to concentrate. From 2010, I had no idea this movie was so old already. This movie is so old, and they were already crazy old. Jason Statham, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, Randy Couture, Terry Crews, Michael Rourke, and Bruce Willis. So it's like, these are like your main heavy hitters. But then it starts to like, these are like, it's like the problem with the new one is that we're missing a lot of these names. Expendables. God damn it, dude. I don't want 4. It keeps shooting 4 to the top of the list. bring it back to 3, where they had, Wesley Snipes jumped in. This is where everybody jumped in. Kelsey Grammer, for some reason, you know who we need? Frasier. Why did you throw in Kelsey Grammer? That's a weird one. But then you get these other ones too, like Randy Couture. Like, why is he there? Victor Ortiz is also like, all right, he's a boxer. Let's throw him in there, sure. Mel Gibson, Harrison Ford. Also, Arnold Schwarzenegger showed up again. So it's like, all right, cool. But that's the problem with this new one, or the reason why it doesn't have like the kick. It doesn't have the moment. It doesn't have the they got him thing. Like Expendables 4, it's like, that was my thing. It's like, when I started the trailer, my mindset is like, all right, let's see who they got. Let's see who's the dusty old timer that was like, I'm in. Did they finally get Clint Eastwood and he's just like with a 6-shooter? Like, who's the new old action guy that's jumping in? And so when Expendables 4, the trailer starts and it's like, all right, Stallone, of course, it has a really long thing with like Jason Statham and Megan Fox being featured. Is that like a cool thing? Are people excited that Megan Fox is in this movie? Are people excited about Megan Fox at all? Like, I remember, what was like her first thing? Transformers? Like, when she popped on Transformers, it's like, yeah, okay, undeniably smoking. But then it's like, if you look kind of like through her career, not what I would consider a top tier actor. I mean, like, she was in like Jennifer's Body, and nothing else comes to mind. I can't think of anything else Megan Fox has been in other than just Transformers. And like, so like for her to be like the big is like, that to me, that's not a big it's just like, you're bringing in Megan Fox. All right, so Statham, Megan Fox, Dolph Lundgren also looking insane. Like, he's got like weird shaggy hair and just looks crazy. Andy Garcia, who's not what I would consider like an action guy, just more like a stand around talk kind of guy. Again, Randy Couture, who's like, why? I don't know why he's like. Probably the coolest thing about the new one is Tony Jaa will be popping up. Tony Jaa is like lifetime cool pass for that movie The Protector. This will be good. We get live audio. It's a good thing I waited. I kept waiting, and I was like, all right, let's just wait for Trash Day to be over. Waiting to film. And then, lo and behold, hit that record button, and woo, it's trash time, baby. So let's enjoy this. What else always happens when I'm trying to record? I wait, and then as soon as I hit that button, it's landscaping time. Or my neighbor, dude. My neighbor is insane. My neighbor has been fixing his roof for like over 3 years. He's been fixing his roof for like as long as I can remember this guy being our neighbor. And for some reason, he only picks 2 times when he wants to fix his roof. One, when it's like maximum blazing heat outside. For some reason, that's the time to do roof work. Or B, when it's like 10 p.m. at night, to be up there just hammering away on a rooftop at 10 at night. On a weekday, dude. What's that? It's backing up? Nice. More awesome background audio. This is just more motivation of why I've either got to A, go find a studio somewhere to do this, or B, really like soundproof the hell out of this place. Get those cool spiky styrofoam things that somehow knock out the sound. Is it finally done? Now that that's over, let's start the marching band. What other loud distractions can we have on this multiple try on the podcast? What was I even talking about? I don't remember. Expendables 4 looking not that great. The biggest selling point being Tony Jaa, who's got the lifetime pass from The Protector, throwing those elbows and knees. Tony Jaa, very cool. He popped up for like a half a second in Fast and Furious, like 6, 7, 8 or something. He was fighting Paul Walker. That's how long ago it was. Like, he was still fighting Paul Walker, and then he just vanished, and it's kind of a shame because Tony Jaa is very cool. Oh, I know what happened. He was the star of Monster Hunter, that terrible movie that nuked at the box office, and I feel like that probably might have set him back a little bit. But the other, like, they're trying to sell it as like 50 Cent, I guess, is like the big selling point of number 4. Is like, oh, they got 50, which again is like, it's just not that big a deal. Like, 50 Cent is cool, but he's also not a good actor, and he's also not like an action hero, so it's not what I would consider a huge selling point on the movie. Now, having said that, you know I'm gonna see it. You know I have to see it because it looks insane, and I'm sure it'll be hilarious. And it's also, I don't understand. I'm also massively confused because it's being rolled out in a way of like, oh yeah, part 1 of like a maybe trilogy. But then it's also like, they're saying like Sylvester Stallone's last ride as his character, and it's also like, it's baffling. So it's like, you're ramping up for like a multiple part, but then also taking away like the founding member? I don't know what to think anymore. Expendables, they'll die when they're dead. So crazy. But speaking of movies, that's what I wanted to talk about was overall anxiety and how much I love going to the movies, but it's also like where I get so much anxiety. You know what also is a huge, I feel like, source of like anxiety? With the hair, I'm just gonna put it up. It's too annoying. Any slight head movement and like the entire thing avalanches into my face, and it's just like insanity. But one of the main sources, I think, of like my general anxiety is probably my Reddit feed, because I think I've let it get out of control. I think I've let it spiral into like really, really upsetting territory, because I follow all these subreddits like Public Freakout and I don't even know, just documented fights, and like, so like most of my Reddit like homepage is really confrontational, fighting, arguments, violence, death. My homepage on Reddit is getting really, really dark, and I can like physically feel it affecting me, dude. I need to do a hard reset. I need to go on Reddit and just like puppies, kittens, silly baby, like whatever. Really scale it back, because it's like a black hole, dude. Like, I'm on Reddit and I just get sucked into all these videos of people just arguing and people just fighting and people just like being so controversial, and not controversial, so confrontational is what I was trying to say. People being so confrontational, and like I can't look away, and also like after a certain amount of time I have to like shake myself out of it and be like, stop, and like turn it off and like step away and like take a moment to like let the anxiety go away, dude, because it's like I get so ramped up watching these like horrible people, dude, the worst people imaginable, arguing, and like those are the worst videos. It's like, there was just this one dude of just this guy just walking down the street talking the craziest, most horrible things you can imagine, dude. And just, he's trying so hard to like instigate a fight, and he's just saying everything he can. And it's just like watching this piece of shit just like spew all this stuff, and just having nobody just run up and blast him is such a terrible injustice. Like, that's what we need. We need Superman, but he doesn't go around like putting out fires or like, lifting buildings. He goes around and just slaps the hell out of these people who just like deserve it so much. These horrible people who like have never been had like the smack. Like just deserving so much and never having it happen. So they go their whole life of just thinking they have like this free pass to just say these horrible things. It's crazy. My Reddit feed is getting really, really bad. But you know what else gives me crazy anxiety? The movie theaters. And you know what I love more than like most things? The movie theaters. And you know what sucks is like the amount of like, dude, I've had times where I'm in my seat like biting my hand because I have so much anxiety. And it's all mostly because other people are so stupid. So, there's no word. I don't have an understanding because I'm not confrontational enough to get to the root of like why this person is doing this. But do you know what is like the most, and I've had it happen so many times, dude, so many times, endless amounts of times, where it's like, this is like a relatively new, not even anymore, I can't even say if it's a new thing anymore. It's not, I don't feel it was maybe a few years ago, but it's not anymore. It's not a new thing to pick your seat in the theater, right? Like, you have to do that almost anywhere. Like, you have to pick your seat before you go. And it's so mind-boggling crazy to me that like I'll go and pick a seat, and then I go and walk to that seat and there's somebody sitting there, dude. Like, how does that happen? First of all, you can see where everybody else has already picked their seat, so it's like, why? Maybe this person made a mistake. They weren't supposed to sit in E4, which is my seat. They're supposed to sit in E5. Easy mistake to make. But also, why are you picking the seat right next to me? Like, do you have no sense of like social boundaries? Like, I have an entire theater, but you want to sit right next to me? Like, what the hell's the matter with you? And then, like, maybe it's also too, I think I get so like upset and in my own head because whenever I see somebody, like, I put so much emphasis and pressure on myself. Like, when I get my seat number, I check that thing like 40 times. There's like 20 times when I'm walking up to the theater where I'm like, what was it? Oh yeah, E4, okay. What was it? Oh yeah, Theater 5, E4. Okay. Theater 5, I'll be in E4. Theater 5, E4. Theater 5, E4. I'm doing that from when I get out of my car to when I'm buying popcorn, dude. Theater 5, E4. Theater 5, E4. And I'm checking it every minute because it's like, I'm terrified that in my head I'll mix it up and be like, Theater 4, E5. Theater 4, when it was actually Theater 4, E5, or whatever. So I'm always like, okay, yeah, E5. Okay, yeah, it was E5. What was it? E5. All right, E5. That's my seat, E5. And then you're walking up, and it's like, all right, there's the, all right, well, there's the E row, and there's already an old dude sitting there. Great. There's already somebody in my row, so it's like, poof, anxiety through the roof. And then I'm like, wait a minute. E1, 2, as I'm like approaching 1, 2, 3, 4. Why is he sitting in 4? That's my seat. I've looked at it 30,000 times and you're still sitting right there. This is all like as I'm like walking up the steps. So it's like walking up, processing, screaming in my own head as I'm just like trying to be completely non-reactant on the outside. And then this is where it ramps up from like anxiety is capped to like anxiety has now blasted through into the stratosphere. Like we've passed the event horizon of anxiety. Like there is no escape now. Like not even light can escape my anxiety. Because old Mick fuck you over here has taken my seat, and because I'm not confrontational enough to be like, hey man, you're in my seat, because I don't want to make a big old thing about it, because then also, I'm also still in my head like, fuck, did I fuck it up? I could have swore it was E5, and then it's like, I have my hands full with goddamn popcorn, so it's like, all right, well, I don't want to like, hold on my shit like, I think you're in my seat, like, it's just too much, so I default to just like, all right, fuck that old man, I guess I'll just go like one over. But then also it's like, okay, so now the entire system is destroyed. Now, I don't want to sit right next to this old man because, social boundaries. Like, I don't want this guy right next to me, this stranger. So I have to either like sit a gap away or a gap over. Either way doesn't matter because I'm 100% in the wrong seat. So now it changes, right? So now it turns into me sitting there, and every single time anybody walks into that theater, I have an explosion of anxiety. I have so much anxiety the last time, I swear, like, because I am like so terrified that like now I am the old fuck over here. Now I'm the dude who's taking up someone else's seat. Now I'm ruining the system for everyone else. And so every time someone walks up those steps, I'm sitting there like, don't sit here. Go past. Oh, thank you, Jesus. And then I'm sitting there, somebody else walks in. Oh my God, please don't go down this road. Please don't go down this road. Please don't go down. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Until the movie is like 10 minutes in, then I can finally relax. But God, I hate people so much. And then this is the other thing too. The worst thing about like going by yourself is that there's no buffer zone. Usually not that bad. So like I don't think it's ever happened to where like the old dude takes my seat. Now I'm in someone else's seat, and then someone else calls me out for being in their seat. That's never happened. But it's always like an extreme fear that it'll happen. I always have crazy anxiety that it's going to happen each time. But you know what is worse somehow is being alone in a completely full theater. It is terrible. The last time it happened was Ant-Man Quantumania. And I remember specifically, so specific. I saw it in IMAX because I was like, screw it, dude. If anything's going to be like IMAX worthy, it's going to be Quantumania because it's like, historically, every time they go super tiny, it's very visually great to watch. So, all right, I'll do IMAX. Sure, I'm a loser. I'm going alone. No problem. This is where the problem starts. So, I get there. I don't think the previews had even started. Whatever. I get there. I sit down. There's like 2 open seats on either side of me. I'm just like, yes. Please have it stay this way. Please let it be 2 open seats and nobody come near me, please. Of course, that doesn't happen. So it's like me, empty seat, dude, and like there's another guy walking down the aisle, and as he like gets within eyesight to see that I'm like going to be sitting next to him, he has this reaction to be like, like a really over-the-top reaction. Like, so upset that somebody is going to be sitting next to him. Which, in my head, I'm like, hey, do you think I'm over here like, yeah, I get a stranger next to me. Whoa, yeah, baby, stranger time. That's what I come to the movies for, baby, to sit next to a stranger. To get all that body odor and personal space. I love it. Are we going to do the armrest battle? I love it. Like, yeah, dude, I'm so psyched to sit next to you. Oh, and did I mention the best part about this dude? He weighed like 400 pounds. That was the best part, is that not only was he so upset that he has to sit next to me, but then also, he's like completely there was no battle for the armrest because he absorbed the armrest. Because when he sat down, the armrest became a part of him. Like, he just spilled over into my seat almost. Like, part of him just, like, laid into my seat too. So I'm like, great. This dick who came over with a big ol' attitude is also spilling his fat into my movie seat. Awesome. And then, to make matters even better, on the other side, this, like, guy and, like, lady come up, so they sit next to me. So now it's like, okay, cool. So I officially have no buffer space. It's a full theater. That's understandable. It's opening weekend. Full theater is not my problem. My problem is that because Jumbo has to spill over on my side, I have to, like, put my soda on my other thing because he completely absorbs the cup holder. And so when she sits down, she does this, like, she's like looking over, like, at my soda, like, we have to share this armrest. Maybe you shouldn't be taking it up with your soda. And I'm just like, do you not see the whale that is just, do you not see that I'm sitting next to Brendan Fraser over here and he is just, like, sucking, like, I'm slowly being absorbed into this guy. Like, I'm sorry, lady, that I have to, like, move my refreshment away from his, like, mass of a body. It was terrible. It was terrible, and I don't like that guy, and I really every time I go to the movies, dude, every single time. And then it's like I try to do this, like, balance too. It's like I can't figure out a good method. I used to have it timed out perfect, right? I go to the movies a lot, so I tried to time it. Roughly, it's like 20 minutes. 20 minutes almost on the dot of just pure previews. Pure nothing but previews until the actual movie starts. You've got, like, a 20-minute window. If it starts at 7, it's really starting at, like, 7:20. So I worked out, like, a perfect system. Go in, use the bathroom, get your snacks, and by the time you're walking in, you should be sitting down, like, right when the movie's starting. But that whole system gets fucked when, like, someone else is sitting in your spot. So it's like, do I get there super early and, like, I have to sit there for, like, an extra 30 minutes just to make sure that, like, I'm in my seat? Just to avoid, like, the possible confrontation of, like, having someone in my seat? I think it's just because it's happened. I don't know if I have bad luck or whatever, but it's happened. It's happened too many times. Like, I don't understand how you could possibly. I think that it goes back to, like, I don't understand because I'm looking at my thing 1,000 times, dude. E4. I'm sitting in E4. I'm sitting in E4. So when someone else makes a mistake, it's like, dude, did you not look at your ticket the way I did 1,000 times to make sure that this wouldn't happen? I was actually, speaking of anxiety, I was actually talking to my sister about my anxiety, and my earliest memories of anxiety are, we used to take these trips. We used to have a boat, and we used to go to the river. When I was younger, we would take these trips over to the river, and the river was like almost 4 hours away from where we lived. So it's like a 3, almost 4 hour drive. And do you know what my responsibilities were on these trips? My responsibilities I always say I was like 10, but I feel like my timelines are, like, way off. So, like, let's just say from, like, let's just throw a large net, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That whole range, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I am 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever. It's irrelevant because it's all kind of the same. But my responsibilities were to freaking attach the boat trailer and the boat to the truck, which is like, I'm getting so much anxiety just thinking about it. Because at the time, I was like the only other male in the family, I guess. Like the job was for my stepdad, right? Like, my stepfather was, like, the one in charge. And so then later, when it was just me, it's like, all right, well, I hope you learned a lot from when he would do it, because now it's your job. And I remember thinking, like, at a young age, like, are you kidding me? Like, how is this my responsibility to make sure that the boat will stay attached to the truck for a 3.5 hour ride. And so I would I'll bet you anything I did it fine. I'll bet you anything I did it perfectly fine because nothing ever happened. And I'll bet you it's a relatively simple, you just hook it, lock it, attach the lights, and you're done. But my God, the feeling of I forgot something, the feeling of I didn't do it right, the feeling of I didn't do it tight enough, I didn't lock it, it's not on there secure, I didn't do it right, I know I didn't do it right. And then sitting in that truck, I would sit there and I would adjust in the seat so that I could look, so I could see the mirror and I could see the boat. And for 3.5 hours of this road trip, I am just sitting there staring at the boat, imagining all the news stories, imagining all these thousands of scenarios where the boat flipped and we're all on the news and we lost everything and all these people died. And anytime there was a slight jiggle on the road, anytime a little bump, anything, I'm just whoop, there it goes. Well, that was it. That was the boat just flying. Just the picture of just that boat so dramatically just the crazy scenarios I would imagine, dude. For just 3+ hours of a 10-year-old just sitting there thinking that they're going to cause the worst highway accident in the history of California. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I know that somewhere rooted in what is me, that's a big significant thing. Somewhere in the depths of my psychosis, that was a big moment. It's all of those trips, all of those long road trips of just pure anxiety. And you know what's funny too is that looking back, I could remember my mom or whatever being not, I don't want to say upset, be why don't you want to do it? Why don't we go water ski? Or why don't you want to and I'd be no, I just want to sit here. I don't want to do anything after 4 hours of just of just imagining the most horrible things. I just want to sit here on the beach and do nothing. Ah, man, Anxiety is a fun thing sometimes. But thank you so much. We've been rambling for a while. I don't even know if this was a good one. I know that we were yelling about trash trucks a while ago. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a good one. I think we're getting better. Either we're getting better at the length of this, or I'm just getting better at telling bad, random stories. Either way, we're going to keep plowing ahead. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, have you not hit that like and subscribe button? Because it definitely helps out. I am your host, as always, Kyle McLemore. We'll see you next time on the pod.